The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. Ukraine has accused some Russian soldiers of child abuse and sexual violence. In an exclusive report, Reuters revealed details of Ukrainian prosecution files after over a year of war. It stated that two Russian soldiers sexually assaulted a 4-year-old girl and gang raped her mother. According to the report, the suspects belong to the Russia's 15th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade. The incident is said to be just one among a spree of sex crimes Russian soldiers committed in March 2022. Meanwhile, Ukraine said a Russian missile struck an apartment building in the city of Kramatorsk. At least one person was killed while 3 others were injured following the incident on Tuesday. U.S. President Joe Biden expects to speak with Chinese leader Xi Jinping soon after the U.S. announced a major submarine deal with Britain and Australia. This comes after China warned that the said deal would pose serious nuclear proliferation risks and stimulate the arms race. The agreement, which Biden deemed a game changer, would provide Australia with nuclear-powered submarines. Without mentioning China specifically, Australia highlighted the need to respond to the military buildup in the Pacific.
I think that it's going to be a game changer, in my view. And I think that coupled with the Quad, which we're both part of, including Japan and India, that we have an ability to expand the maritime domain of democracies and peace, stability, and some security.
Very important, very significant that you have agreed for just the second time in history to share this technology. And I think it will make a difference in advancing security and stability in the region.
Britain is reviewing threats posed by TikTok amid calls for a ban on the Chinese-owned social media app. Security Minister Tom Tugendhat said he is now waiting for a review from cybersecurity experts before deciding on, quote, hugely important question. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak earlier hinted that the UK could follow the US and European Union in banning the app from government-issued devices. Sunak said they will do whatever steps are necessary to make sure that the integrity and security of sensitive information are protected. TikTok's parent company ByteDance is allegedly giving user data to the Chinese government or pushing propaganda and misinformation on its behalf. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. Bruised U.S. bank stocks regained some ground as the sell-off sparked by the Silicon Valley Bank collapse marks way for bargain hunting. The shutdown on SVB has shaken global financial markets over the past few days over fears of possible contagion. But contagion fears have started to ease yesterday as some bargain hunting investors have become hopeful that efforts to shore up confidence would avert a wider financial crisis. Reuters reports that the U.S. Justice Department is opening a probe into the SVB failure, while the Wall Street Journal says the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has launched a parallel investigation. Meanwhile, worries among customers have also started to ease after the U.S. government said it would guarantee deposits following the bank's collapse. Since Monday, SVB customers have been lining up to withdraw their savings.
We were panicking. I think a lot of us were panicking, and we're trying to get through in terms of how we open up different bank account quickly, and more so in terms of how we can, whether we'll get our cash back or, whatever money we are left with on the bank side. So we're here to see if we can extract the money quickly, because that money is, the liquid cash is what we need to run our operation.
U.S. President Joe Biden has issued an executive order that aims to increase background checks when buying guns. The Democratic president's latest action does not change U.S. government policy. However, it directs federal agencies to ensure compliance with existing laws and procedures. Biden also acknowledged the Congress's opposition, but maintained that his administration will continue to do what it can to make communities safer. The housing market in the U.S. has reached its most unaffordable level on record, which means Americans need to be richer than ever to buy a home. Let's get the details from Bloomberg News' Paulina Cachero.
The American dream of owning a home is getting further out of reach for most Americans, unless you have the money to buy in the least affordable housing market on record. Last year, first-time buyers made up the smallest share on record, just 26%, even as home values started to cool. While housing affordability has been eroding for years, it's reached its lowest levels going back to 1986. So what's causing it? Well, it's probably no surprise. But low inventory, high prices, and rising mortgage rates are closing the door to working-class Americans. The typical household income for first-time buyers went from $70,000 in 2019 to $90,000 in 2022. So those who can absorb the high prices and financial shocks of rising mortgage rates generally are people who already have money or have access to the bank of mom and dad. Before the pandemic, about a third of first-time homeowners relied on a gift or a loan from families for at least part of their down payment, but that number increased to 40% in 2021. In 1981, the keys to home ownership was within reach for 29-year-olds. But in 2022, the first-time buyer was 36 years old. That's the oldest in the records for National Association of Realtors. The widening chasm between those who can afford to buy and those who can't are exacerbating racial disparities, since a disproportionate number of Black and Latino households have never owned. And it's also excluding many Americans from a key opportunity to build wealth for generations to come.
In showbiz, the season finale of The Last of Us scored millions of viewers on HBO. More on that and other entertainment headlines in Showbiz Minute, courtesy of the Associated Press. And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.